Hi, everyone. Good evening. Look who I have back. I have Dave Johnson, who is going to be doing a lot of questions for us. And I've got them here, and I'm going to also capture a lot of them off of his website. He put a whole bunch of them into his comments. So I'm also going to capture a lot of them. So I'm going to go toddle back and forth. But David, how are you doing?
I am great. I am really great. Just going into fall here in the land down under. It's just getting cold.
Oh yeah, we're just heating up here. Yeah.
There you are. It's always ironic. The clothing difference is always really obvious, like where you guys are and where I am. 'Cause it's cold today.
Yeah, is it really? What would be a cold day for you in Fahrenheit?
Yeah, let's see. So I'm gonna say it's probably 60 out, maybe a little less. It's surprising, but in Australia, you do have to turn on the heat. In the winter, it is, I'd say, just a little bit colder than San Francisco in the winter, right? So it's not warm all the time. It's not hot all the time at all.
So, I mean, so you're in Australia, right?
Yeah.
So we think Australia down under, you guys are pretty hot all the time.
It's not my way at all. So maybe, also I live in the southern part. I used to live in Sydney, by the way, and this is a southern portion. So it's not tropical. But if you go to the northern part, it's more hot all year round. It's not hot, but it's warmer all year round. And, you could still, in Brisbane, you can still go into the ocean, right? Here it's getting a little colder on the ocean. So it depends kind of where you are in Australia. And let me tell you, the summers are the hottest I have ever experienced in my life. I mean, we're talking
Scorching, right?
like 125 Fahrenheit,
How much?
right?
How 125?
Like you don't go out.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's hard to breathe at
Yeah.
125.
Yeah. Unconsciously, people always stand in the shade, and you don't really even think about it. You just go stand in the shade when you're waiting for the bus. You don't, again,
Uh,
if you're conscious, you just find yourself standing in the shade, and you'll walk down the street, and all the people are standing in the shade. At least in the city, you got shade, because the problem is you go out into the bush, there aren't tall trees; they're just bushes, so you can't
oh
get
yeah, yeah.
shade.
Have you have you have you went out into the bush and like petted a or at least saw a kangaroo and all that good stuff?
Oh my gosh! Every time, this is the thing about Australia. Every single time I will go camping, I will see an animal that I've never seen before, sometimes an animal I've never even heard of. Like, and you'll just be looking at it and like, what is that thing? When I went camping one day, and the first camping trip, get out of the car, get out the tent, and there is a gigantic lizard, and I mean the size of a crocodile, walking through our campsite. And I'm like, is it dangerous? I have no idea. I've never even heard of this thing. And then I kept saying, oh, it's a gona. It's a gona. And they go, no, Dave, it's a goanna, right? Whoever heard of that? every
Right.
trip, every trip, there's this crazy animal I've never heard of.
Well, you're like, is that going to eat me? That's what I need to know.
And the danger is they think you're a tree and they might climb up you, but that's the only danger with a goanna. Yeah, you can't
Wow.
steady or they'll get scared and climb over you, right? And that's Australia. Echidnas. I mean, whoever heard of an echidna or knows what it looks like? Baby kangaroos. They don't even notice. They think of them like cattle. Like, oh yeah, what do I care about a kangaroo? It's really quite fun.
Wow. That does
Yeah.
sound like it does sound like I would like to visit, but I wouldn't want to stay because of the heat.
No,
I am a Colorado girl.
well, you can visit me in spring or
There you
fall.
go.
Both of the times, it's really, really, really nice.
Oh,
It's a wonderful place to visit.
fantastic. I heard that Lena is going to come visit you.
Yes, she's coming over next week, and we're going to do a video together.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we haven't really necessarily decided that much about the video yet. We always like to do videos together, and honestly, I just love hanging out with Lena because she's awesome.
She
And just
really is.
to answer your question, she is just as cool in real life as she is on video. She's just as funny
Oh,
and just as smart. I think Lena used to teach sociology, so she's very, very well informed on a lot of subjects, especially subjects I don't know about.
right.
Coming from more Australian, more socialist perspective. I'm an American, and very much from a capitalist background, as you and I are. So we really have these marvelous dynamic conversations, and I just have to find stuff that's interesting enough for her, because I live in Adelaide, which is kind of a rinky-dink city, and she's from Melbourne, which has pretty much everything. Every time she's calling me, trains are going by, and she's on her way to a really exciting event or some interesting restaurant or belly dancing, and I'm like, well, cool. I'm going to the store today.
Right. She lives an exciting life, and they were like, we're just here.
Work done.
I love her sarcasm, where she pops in those little pops, the sayings that she says. Oh my gosh, they get me every time.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Sharon Sipe, she's always here. She's always ready to go. She's kind of like our girl that shows up and says hello to everyone and stuff. Yeah. Sharon Sipe. And a lot of other moderators that are in here. And Marie Hansen just donated, says, I sent you a box, Sheila. Oh, I'll look for that box. Thanks, Marie. Let's see, Deb you're amazing. She also gave us a little chat. So that helps out a lot. And let's see who will go through here. So, all right, guys. And then Bob Mueller, he also gave us a little chat. I'm just looking through and seeing everybody here. Yes. So take a deep breath. I think we're going to get into some questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Have you smudged? Have you done everything you needed to do?
I have my smudge right here. I'm just going to smudge more.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go ahead and help you out with that on this side of the world and get some clear air going energetically.
Mm-hmm.
I have Palo. What do you have? You have just regular...
Just the regular stuff. Not the easiest thing to find in Australia, let me tell you. You can.
Oh, really? Give me your address. I'll send you a lot. And it's very ethically sourced here in Colorado.
I am all over that.
Yeah. Yeah,
wow.
Email me your address. I'll get you a care package from Colorado.
Oh, wonderful! I would so be on that.
Okay. I would be more than happy to do that for you, huh?
Okay, good. And thank you to the moderators.
Oh, the moderators are fantastic. They really get in here. Terry's in here. Annie's in here. Yeah. We have some really... Oh, Footprint. Do you know Footprint? She also lives... I'm going to start lying. She also lives in Australia. Footprint, Chrissy from Footprint?
No.
Yeah, she lives in the same time zone, like the same places, like everybody's opposite of our time. We've been trying to do a collaboration, but it always ends up where she's asleep, I'm awake, whatever happens.
Okay.
She also lives... She's in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, well, no, I'll take a look.
Yep, Footprint. It's her Footprint, Chrissy from Footprint.
Okay.
All right, are we ready? Take a deep breath. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and take one from your chat, from your community page. This is from Serenity Springs. Wondering, in the future, could you ask about Roe versus Wade versus Mississippi? What will the Supreme Court ruling look like, and the reaction in America?
Okay. So I'm going to try to get my opinions out of here, okay? Because I have some strong opinions about Roe v. Wade. Let's see. Okay, don't show me that. Okay, I have to tell you, I keep seeing a noose. It's just like the word Mississippi, that just did not give me a good feeling. But let's just, okay, Spirit, tell me in a clear way. What's going to happen? And I'm just going to ask generally between Roe v. Wade. Well, just generally speaking, I keep seeing Amy. What's Amy's name again?
Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah, Coney Barrett. I keep seeing her face, and she's looking kind of peevish and unpleasant. I don't know if that means. Look, okay. This is what I'm getting. So there's it's almost like a sculpture with a stone, and they're chipping away at it. I don't know if they're going to go directly for Roe v. Wade and overturn it per se. They are going to just chip and chip and chip and chip away at that, at Roe v. Wade. So they're just going to make it really hard to get an abortion, especially in some places. So I have, well, before I get to my opinion, let me see. What can you tell me more? Constitution. I'm seeing a constitution, and I'm seeing it's almost like somebody's trying to rewrite it, right? But it's kind of giving me a feeling like they don't want to rewrite the law. They just want to amend it, right? So they're going to just sort of, in a way, I would say chip away at the Constitution. They would undermine the, previous law, the stare decisis Roe v. Wade, but they would not necessarily completely get rid of it, right? Because I just think that would be too dramatic. Maybe it would have too great a public reaction. But they can get away with making the laws in Mississippi so strict, and I know you mentioned it, so strict that no one's going to really be able to get an abortion because they're going to make it super strict. And tell me again about Mississippi. Can you make the question really clear? Because I don't know the situation.
I don't know the exact situation either. I know it came up into the news, and that's about all I could tell you too. I'm so sorry. But kind of coming out of coming out of that, there's a little bit where we knew that they're probably going to go after that and try to flip that, and especially down in the South, where are all the red states and stuff like that. But here in Colorado, we kind of head out. It's like we're not going to take away the abortion, of course not. But what we do is we do it the other way, where we're educating women, we're giving them, a way out and stuff like that. So that was a difficult question to get through, especially.
It is a very difficult question to get through. I will say, just as a fact, that education has reduced the number of teen pregnancies by a huge amount under Obama. So if you truly don't want abortion, then you should have sex education in schools, right? Because that is the best way to prevent it. It also prevents unwanted or untimely pregnancies, right?
I've always wanted to lower the and this is just in my own opinion here. I always wanted to lower the age for you to get birth control to at least 16 years old. If you can get married at 16, you can go and, do all the stuff. I want you to be able to make your decision if you wanted to get birth control without your sister or without your mother's consent or father's consent or whatever, without your parents. I always thought that too, is like give them a little bit more responsibility. Because most abortions happen between 16 and 28.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Yep. So there's an age, that, from young teenagers to college girls and stuff like that. So there's that age group that you kind of have to address. But it is a thing. Okay. I'm always, it's your choice. I always get into that thing and say, whatever happens in somebody else's uterus is none of your business.
You're absolutely right.
You can, and it says, and somebody else's morality is also none of your business.
Yeah, right. I also believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
Me, when people talk about the issues of life and death, okay, that's a legitimate concern. I do understand why people are concerned about that, but I'm not pushing you to believe in reincarnation. You don't have to believe what I believe. That should be a woman's choice.
Yep. I agree. Every spiritual teacher has always said that spirit doesn't go into that infant's body until after they were born 9 times out of 10 anyway. So it's like whatever happens prior to that is just an organic situation. But, we can't hammer that out. We can't hammer that out with a whole bunch of that's just a spiritual knowing instead of spiritual confirmation. So I get it. Okay, so we have one more. Let's go into always the doggies.
I find the energy of our work really stimulates animals, because I often talk to my clients and the cat will be walking across the laptop, like putting on the oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, if there's an animal in the house, it will come during the session.
Silliness. Yeah, I know. My doggies are very, very conversational. All right. So will McCarthy lie about the insurrection when in oath? So what's going on here is he's trying to fight against them doing a probe into it. I know there's another word for it, and somebody will correct me, but if they do go forward with that,
Right.
will he lie under oath? And
Okay.
it kind of give us even better kind of extend that question to the fate of McCarthy, because I know that question's also.
Good. I did, by the way, ask this question, I think, yesterday about McCarthy. And I kind of already gave an answer. So hopefully I will not contradict myself today. Let's start with will McCarthy lie? And we'll just maybe get a little bit more information. So, will McCarthy lie? And maybe I can put this to spirit in a different sense. What will McCarthy do? Dissemble, not really answer the question. He'll really, kind of like William Barr, choose his answers so specifically that they could mean anything. Don't trust McCarthy. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what I get out of him. Do not trust a word out of his mouth. Look, we've seen McCarthy totally contradict himself. He came out and he said, "Oh yeah, it's all Trump's fault," and then 3 weeks later, no, nothing happened. Right? So we cannot trust these people to tell us the truth. He will. The question is he gonna, be under oath and lie? Will he lie under oath? Yes. Again, I get this kind of like a tiny bit in a sense of he will be saying things in a certain way to give them a certain light. I mean, it's almost like half truth is a lie. And that's sort of where he's going. He's going to try to walk this fine line where he doesn't go to jail, but he doesn't give over much of the truth. This is going to be really hard for him to do.
Can you get where why is he like this, and what is his end goal?
Who is he? So I'm just going to say, who is Kevin McCarthy? Just a very self-interested party. You know what I see him doing? I see a big sword in his hand, and he's cutting the earth in half. Right? He will. He is not an ethical person. He does not have any interest in the benefit of the United States or the world. He is strictly one of these people who's, it's like a hardcore CEO. He's in it to win, right? It has nothing to do with any ethics or values. He is a person who, from youth, he was political at 12. He was already trying to figure out like how to be friends with certain people to promote himself, and he figured out very young how politics work and how you can, basically, do the things that 12-year-olds do to get power. Talk behind people's backs, say the right thing to the right person, assert yourself in the right times, get on the right, sports teams. There's not much more to McCarthy than that. It's just politics. And without these politics, he wouldn't really have a purpose. He's not a lover. He doesn't really have communications with, maybe he loves members of family, but he doesn't really talk to them. It's just about how he is perceived and his power. In a lot of sense, he's a very frightened and weak person. Without these structures of power, he is not, there is nothing. So, you might look at him as the kind of, I believe, this sort of male, hyper male, and I say male in parentheses, like male-ish, like man-ish in a sense, not having to do with gender, but he's like this hyper control political character that's kind of like a dinosaur that's dying. And if it helps you out a little bit, these are the desperate attempts by a whole army of people that are no longer going to have the same power in the future.
Okay, so what? So his end goal is just power and control. Power and control. So he thinks.
If it were useful for him, he'd be a Democrat. It's just he doesn't believe in these things. If Democrats had more money, he'd be a Democrat, right?
Gotcha.
But Republicans have more money, right? So that's why he's a Republican. You can get more money from business, so you do what they say.
Gotcha. I have another question from your chat, your community chat. Is Igor D? It says, could you please look into the economy and the stock market from 2021 to 2022?
2021 to 2022. So I guess just to make this clear with Spirit, we're starting now and we're going to go through till January 1st, 2022. What I'm seeing is an initial rise. There's going to be a couple of weeks while we sort some things out. I think it has to do with, the pipeline, messing with the pipeline and fears of inflation. And, all of these are, people's fears as much as they are real things. That's how the stock market works. But I see pretty quickly an increase. I see a fairly dramatic increase. And then it's going to kind of zigzag up and down a bit, as the stock market does. But to tell you the truth, the biggest increase I see is fairly close to the horizon. I don't know if this is 3 weeks or a month. If you are investing, first of all, please do never invest money you cannot afford to lose. You guarantee you will lose your money if you invest something you can't afford to lose, because you will make bad choices. You will choose to take the money out at the wrong time because you will be desperate. So only put money in the stock market that you can afford to lose, or that you don't need in the next 10 years, right? But insofar as that's concerned, I would consider just look at the stock market, and in 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month, consider putting your money into good choices, right? And a variety of them. Because I do think that the stock market will go up. It will go down a bit, but it won't go all the way back down. I think it's actually going to do fairly well. There are some pretty dramatic up and downs, not crazy, but relatively from what I am seeing. It will be a fluctuating situation. It won't be steady. I don't know why, but it's just bing, 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 bing like this. So there are some opportunities to make money here.
So in reality, it's not going to tank or anything like that. It's going to act normal. Is pretty much.
I would say it's going to go up, and then it will be pretty zigzaggy, but relatively normal. And let me just ask this, because I think it's important to know about the Biden, just this Biden economy. Will it generally be good? Because that will be reflected in the stock market. And I get it, like a pretty good to good, right? I think that things, once we open up post COVID, some pretty good things will happen. Not fantastic, maybe not off the hook, but I think pretty good, right? Anything more about Biden? I keep getting Biden giving me a thumbs up. He's happy.
Yay! All right, all right. So we have 3 heavy hitters coming up. So I have from Jackie Ogle. I'll just keep with the first names because I murder the last names. But anyways, from Jackie, will anything with it says, will anything happen to Marjorie Taylor Greene over her harassing the AOC?
Well, there's grumbling. The Republicans are grumbling, right? So one thing that she does serve to do, she makes a fool out of the Republican Party. So she's obnoxious and kind of unbearable and difficult to watch, but she is serving a purpose. She makes AOC look pretty good, right? I mean, you can't really say, oh, look at these radical lefty people when you have Marjorie Taylor Greene. But I don't know if are they going to really punish her? It's going to be slap on the wrist. Oh, don't do that again. There's an element of Republican people who like her and who, make money and success out of her. There are media channels that love her. So they can't really totally get rid of her, because then they'll get rid of that one aspect of the Republican Party.
Well, she made $3 million off of this little antic.
Wow. So yeah, why would she stop?
Yeah, I think when she runs low on money, she has to go and act like a jerk, and then she gains some more money, and then she goes along her day, and she goes back and being quiet. I think it all really kind of stems down to the donors and the making the donations,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
like paying for her to act up.
yeah. And again, just to put a very positive spin on this, she's doing, I mean, all that money she's taken, she's sucking out of the Republican Party and putting for herself to be the crazy person. And, you know, maybe it's 3 million there, but how much money is AOC going to get? And I don't even think AOC needs that much money. I think AOC could just be AOC and just do that and be like, look at these crazy people,
Right.
you know? And I think that people like Greene are going to really divide the Republicans, just like Trump is dividing them now.
Cool. Okay, so now we have from Theodore. We have Will DeSantos, Lori from Way of Positive Change. She calls him DeSatan. So she cracks me up. So will DeSantos be implicated along with Matt Gaetz and possibly Roger Stone from the mutual friends and the things that's going on? Is he involved? Actually, a better question maybe is like, is he involved in this?
So,
With Matt Gaetz?
Florida governor.
Yep, Florida. Yeah.
So one in a long line of corrupt Florida governors. Let's see. DeSantis. Did DeSantis know about this crime? Yes, he knew something about it. I see DeSantis take a little bit of money and sneakily put it in his jacket pocket. So he did do something. It has a feeling of a little bit of money. So it's not $1 million. It's, 20 grand. Right. So a little bit of money. He is nervous about this. He's looking around and he's like, uh-oh, what if I get caught? Ooh, okay. Let's see. I love how Spirit does this. It's showing you dressed as a policewoman again. And you're like, oh, Mr. DeSantis, what's in your pocket? Spirit always uses this for me. It always uses like sort of people I know and familiar things, right? So
I want to carry handcuffs and flip them in my hand.
Spinning the guns, yeah.
Exactly.
Little third eye, magic third eye right there.
Correct.
So, well, let's see what else he shows me about Sheila and her work here, her police work. So I'm not sure we'll be able to catch him and to prove it. He is nervous about it. It might be exposed. It might be, quasi-legal, and he just has to pay it back. I think it might even be a scandal because I see him at the press conference and he's getting angry. But
so he might be like implicated, but not necessarily.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if he'll really like go to jail.
Okay.
I'm getting a no. He won't go to jail. But there will be some pushback on it. Some of the scandal will rub off on him. And so, yeah, I understand there are consequences to these actions. They may not be obvious. That's what really the universe wants to tell us. We may not see them, but there are, like maybe he will have trouble getting elected next time around. It's going to really upset him and it'll make him nervous and it won't make him as good of a speaker. So it's undermining his role.
So what? That was a question too. Is can you just do a split 30-second look at his re-election?
Okay, let's see. So Ron DeSantis election. He doesn't look happy. He doesn't look sad. He's kind of smirking. I don't know if it looks good for him. He's looking quite disappointed. Let me see. So is Ron DeSantis going to get reelected? I get a feeling but just barely, right? So he'll get reelected, but he won't be president because he looks like he's won, but he's still disappointed. I would say even that it's not necessarily clear whether he will win or lose as governor. As I look at this now, though, it doesn't look great. I mean, certainly he will not go beyond governor as I'm looking now. It doesn't look like he's getting what he wants.
Yeah, I think they're going to go through it. I think the Republican Party. I think what we're picking up on a lot of the readers. I've been listening to them closely. Is that they are picking up on the destruction of the Republican Party, and it's hard to get them to the race. It's hard to get them to the energy of them winning and or losing. You know. There was a lot of readers were seeing him lose. We have a new person that's going to run against him. I can't remember her name. Of course, I can't remember her name live, but but she's running against a Democrat. A strong woman is running against him. So we'll have to just wait and see. 2020.
Super beautiful black lady.
Yeah, super.
I forget her name, but she's really super beautiful, and I really like her. I should know her name, but I will. Tomorrow I will. But let me just see if she would win.
Val Demings.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
She looks kind of happy. I'd say there's a possibility that he would lose. Again, I don't think it's certain there, but she's not raving, but she's smiling. Right. So I'd say that there's a possibility that she could, and she certainly has my backing because I really like her. But
I wish we could all go there and make them all vote.
Yes, I wish we could.
You're like, vote.
I only wish we could have fair voting system so that poor people didn't have to stand in line for 3 hours. You know how hard it was for me to vote? Almost impossible.
I know. I remember that. It's like you couldn't even get your ballot to the United States.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, so let's kind of move on. We're already a half an hour in, isn't it? It goes fast, doesn't it? I know. Okay. So we're gonna kind of get into a little bit more blitzes. I have one here from Laurel from your community page. Somebody wants to know. She wants to know about twin flames. Are they real? And how do you know when you have one?
Okay, twin flames. Let's see. So, Spirit, is there really twin flame? Is that such a thing? Well, twin flames is a way of saying you meet the right person at the right time. So, it is true. All of us have met a lifelong friend. You might consider that a twin flame. Hopefully all of us have. There's also, and sometimes when you're just, twin flames for a month, it really can be that exchange. What you learn from a person lasts that long. So don't discount these, relationships that might be quite short. What did you learn out of them is important. But sure, there are definitely a possibility, definitely people who are supposed to be together for the rest of their lives. I think that is true. I'm seeing twin flames. Oh, and how interesting. It's sort of forming letters, these fiery flames, right? One message that I get is, love is always there. It's always there out in the universe. We just know it through certain people, right? So if you're not in a relationship, don't get too down on yourself, right? Sometimes we're just supposed to be alone. I do a lot of, I should say, when I was single, I did a ton of work. I was really hard, and I would have really liked to be together. But twin flames exist. And I do believe if you put that energy out there, you are more likely to meet that twin flame. But understand that it's not only the twin flames, right? There are some just friendly relationships you get a lot out of in your life.
Yeah, the twin flame theory is multi-dimensional for sure.
Right.
Maybe we could dive deep into that another time. Yeah. We also have will Trump be indicted? Everybody wants to know about Trump.
I'm hoping so. Okay, clear my opinion out of the way here.
Your opinions. Yes, exactly.
Okay. Trump's gonna get it. Whenever I look at Trump, I always see him in jail. I don't just think that he's going to get indicted. I think that he might actually go to jail. I really, and maybe the jail that I'm seeing is symbolic. But I always see him in jail, and I always see his daughter with a little tin cup begging for money. right? I understand that the best way to get Trump first is get a hold of the money, because without the money he can't manipulate the situation, right? And you'll start having a real effect. But is he going to get indicted? New York, I would even say he's going to get indicted in more than one place. New Jersey, he'll be in New Jersey when he gets indicted, right? And there's some New Jersey New York relationship, such that he will get indicted. And I'm just going to ask, like, how many indictments? I think he'll get indicted by more than one thing. I think it's possible that he'll get indicted in 3 different instances. That's what universe shows me, 3 fingers. Okay, Spirit. Georgia, I think he will be indicted in Georgia. This is going to be a tough case, because many people voted for him in Georgia. But that doesn't necessarily stop the indictment, right? You can indict someone and, have them face charges, even if you think that they will not win. One of the things that's a question of, these guys are coordinating more than you think, right? They're trying to decide which one should we prosecute first, right? It would be better to prosecute tax stuff first because it's all numbers, easy to prove, and that's just my opinion. But the question really is, they've all got these indictments, a lot of indictments, and they're just waiting. I would also say, don't worry, because all of those things that Mueller laid out, all of those things are indictable offenses, and there are 10. This is just what we know about from Mueller's report. It doesn't include other things. Trump will be indicted. He will go to jail. I see him in handcuffs.
Yeah, somebody else did too. Somebody else keeps on seeing him in handcuffs as well. Let me see if I can go back. Is it Patty? Is it Patty G, or maybe that one's Theodore? Jackie, or maybe I'm getting them wrong, but I saw Trump in handcuffs. Somebody keeps on dreaming about seeing him in handcuffs. So also in the chat, people are trying to get my attention, and I am trying to pay attention, guys. You guys are doing really, really great. So there's some information they did that says the House just passed the January 6th commission, 252 to 175. So of course the 175 is the Republican.
Yeah.
But I have a question. I'm a little lost in this, and I know that my Jackie is here on site with me. She'll email me or text me. But I say, when they do the commission, so they pass to the House, do they go do the commission and then they take the findings to the Senate, or does the Senate also have to pass for them to go do the work? I'm confused.
I think it has to pass the Senate too. I'm pretty sure I read that in the New York Times yesterday. I think so. And again, I could be wrong, but that's my impression. Feel free to have any of your viewers correct me.
Well, no, she's saying, Jackie's saying no, they don't go do the work and then go to the Senate, or what? It has to pass the Senate. Okay, so it has to pass the Senate. Okay.
Right.
I was confused about that. I just wanted to know.
One thing to notice about the House is some of those people who voted for it are Republican, right? Yes. So there are some Republicans who are willing to do it. And I think there's some Republicans who are done with Trump. They would rather he be done. Yeah, I think there's a reason why that's happening.
So can you give me a 30-second, will the Senate pass it? See what the energy is right now. Because they still have a ways to go, but I wanted to see what if the question was asked today, what would they say?
I kind of get a by 2. It would just barely pass. Like there are 2 people who have signed on who are Republicans, so I kind of get it just barely. I see light, and I do see Liberty, like Lady Liberty. So Lady Liberty, are we going to?
They need at least 10 of them to pass it.
That's tricky, isn't it?
Isn't that a shame that we have to have? We depend on 10 people. Yeah.
Come on, Joe Manchin. Come on, Christian Cinema. Let's just get over the filibuster. It is ridiculous. Why do we follow these rules? Republicans don't follow the rules, so why do we? But let's see. Is it going to pass? Oh, wow. I'm seeing their faces now. I'm seeing Joe Manchin's face.
And we do have a lot of intuitive viewers that are also kind of getting that it might. But I was just wondering if that question was asked at this moment.
So Spirit, would it pass today? Yes, I'm getting that it would. I'm getting this, which to me means, yeah, keep going. Yeah, it
Okay,
would
good,
pass
good.
today. It's not going to be so, it's going to be touch and go for a while. It's going to be a battle.
Right. Well, we'll get closer once all of the conversation happens. I wanted to get in there and check out and see right before the vote happens. I wanted to kind of see the energy of that.
Yeah.
I have a special technique where I look at kind of all of them and I can see a red light over top of them or a green light over top of them.
Oh.
And I just kind of visually look over top of them and see where we're at and see how many red and green. But that's something that I do. All right.
I get this. No, or yeah.
There you go. So yeah, we all have the communication happens differently for
Exactly.
Okay, so we have here the pandemic. Let's see. I don't know if we can. I'm looking for another one. Everybody, you have some really nice viewers. They're telling you to listen to your heart. They love you. All that good stuff. Okay, so let's move on to. I'm sorry, guys, that we can't get all of them because I have this guy for an hour. I would have them for 3 hours, but he just can't do it. Let's see. A lot of people want to, I'm from Canada. What I would love to find out. Okay. Hang on a second. I don't know why I can't see them right now. Okay, so a lot of people are wanting to know about the voter suppression laws that are red states and passing going to be successful, or will Congress actually pass the voting rights bill? So that's kind of like a two-parter. Are they going the suppression, kind of going, I guess, into the energy of the suppression laws right now and see what they're doing.
Well, I'm getting a no on the Senate passed. No. I don't think they'll be able to get this Voting Rights Act through. And it's a pity. It's not called the Voting Rights Act, but they will not be able to. It's the Republicans are going to block it, right? And I keep seeing Joe Manchin's face. One thing that's important to know is all of this, every time these things happen, it puts enormous pressure on Joe Manchin to get off of the filibuster thing and just do it, right? It puts tons of pressure on him, and it gives him a reason to end the filibuster. I'm not saying that he will, but it will not pass. The federal, the Congress, that will not pass, unfortunately. Let's see. It's going to be different state by state. Texas, they will be able to pass most of the things that they have attempted to pass. They will be able to restrict the voting in Texas because the judges are Republican, etc. So it will have varied results in many places. Like Florida has a little less voter suppression going on. Texas has the most. It's different state to state. But I'm really interested in, will this matter? Some people say that the laws themselves will bring Democrats out to vote because nobody likes to be repressed, right? Just like the last election. So I
felt that the whole time. It's like it doesn't matter what their little antics are; they're gonna just walk through them and just go and vote and do what they got to do. If they have to jump through hoops, then fine, because they're going to vote. It's like we have to get these people out of here, right? Yeah. No matter how hard you make it for us, but they are also making it hard for their own people. It's not like just for us, but they also know that if they played fair, they would never win an election.
Yeah, they wouldn't win right now. Yeah, they're a losing brand. And one thing you might take heart in is that they're going to keep having to try this, and one day it just won't work, right?
Right. I also have another question here. Was anybody in the Secret Service involved in the January 6th insurrection?
Mm-hmm. Yes. There are more than one person. I'm seeing a line of people, and they're wearing the really gray suits, the serious suits of the Secret Service. They are. They look to be like I get the word big time players. They're the people that you do not see that are pulling some strings. Now, they weren't the only ones, right? So there were people in the Secret Service who were also guarding against this happening. But they're a cohort of maybe 3 or 4 people in relatively powerful positions that kind of knew about it, anticipated it, and facilitated it. They didn't do that overtly. At the same time, they covered their tracks pretty well. But there are people in the Secret Service who suspect them, and there is evidence to convict them.
Good. I'm glad that they're going to get caught. Okay, so
I'm not certain they will get caught. I am certain there's evidence, right? That evidence is what I see. I'm not sure that they will actually ever get caught. They might, but it might be one of those things. You know, there's lots of people who did things wrong in the last 4 years who are going to get away with it. Not everyone, but some of them.
Yep. People in the chat said that you were kind of lined up with well, Linda G sees the voter bill passing, but you know, like we said, it's not like a thing. She, you know, what you see could be the energy today.
Right.
And they also talk about, she predicted about the Secret Service. So Linda G also predicted the same thing as you did with the Secret
Service. Okay, right. Yeah. Well, I hope he's right about both.
Yeah.
And I hope they get caught. So we'll take it a little further.
Exactly. Let's see. We have a couple here. So here's a spiritual one for you. How do we unite as a country, and how do we raise the collective consciousness?
This is very difficult. It's a very difficult question. How can we unite? Honestly, we simply cannot reunite with the extreme right wing. There is just, you know, many of you might have family members. You just simply cannot talk about, you cannot have a common dialogue where you do not agree about the basic facts. If you think the moon is made of green cheese, you can't build a rocket to the moon. It's just not going to happen. So I have to say that I think that the extreme right will decrease over time. And on the positive side, that is uniting everybody who's not that person, right? So in a way, you know, the extreme right is a uniting force. It's just uniting a body of people against them. Sheila and I might not agree about a lot of things. We might disagree about a host of things, but we both agree on the basic truth of the law and the Constitution. Sheila and I, you know, will work together to put in a decent Supreme Court and stuff like that. I'm afraid to say that when you're dealing with this extreme right wing, you just kind of want to, it's like an abusive father. You just want to close them out of you just want to put them as distant and in as safe a place as you can. Don't bring up politics. You know, I have loved ones that don't agree with me about politics. We just don't talk about politics. I try to keep it separate.
So uniting the country is not really, because I've often wondered about that too. Is there anything out there, even a miracle, that would unite the country?
It's just a kind of thing where you chip away at the right. It's going to be over time. People are going to, you know, look at the videos of the Capitol insurrection and they're going to go, you know, come on, Dad, like, what are you talking about? I'm looking at the video right here. Look, this is almost like the Civil War. After the Civil War, we didn't convince Southerners that slavery was wrong, even though they lost the war and it had terrible effects. And, you know, the population of the South, like, you know, went down the height of people went down 6 inches because that's how many of the men were killed. Like, the tall guys got shot. So it's not a question. We're just not going to be able to totally reunite. I see almost like the steps of a pyramid. Step by step by step by step, we will be able to claw back a relationship. with
So I guess
people.
so. I have a question. Thinking about that, we know that it's a bridge too far for some of them. We know that they're too far
Yeah.
gone. There's never coming back. It's just like a rotted root in a plant. It's time to throw it away, right? We know it's done. However, um, w- how big is that base going to be at the end of the day?
The right wing base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how it's like when it comes down to it, they're dwindling so much. Well, how what is the reality of that hardcore, far beyond reality, done people?
Yeah, that's a good.
No bringing them back, kind of.
That's a way to say it. Let's see. What about these people? Look, you can reunite with such people on a personal level. You can say, "I'm sorry that happened to you," or I may not agree with you politically, but I'm sorry this happened to you. You can say, "Let's talk about relationships with these people," or something like that. But you simply will not get anywhere. You will not change their minds. They may change their minds. Again, I see it almost like steps. So if imagine this is the base, and as you go up the side of the pyramid, the base gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's just over time, and a step by step, just the reality of what they're seeing. Let me again put this to spirit. Is there any way that we could reunite with them? If a common enemy emerges, so if someone were to attack the United States, or if the United States, declared war on someone, or there was some kind of police action, that would help to unite people to some degree. The problem is the media. You just got this huge media that's constantly feeding them terror and terror and terror.
It is
They
true.
that and until we have some laws to control the media and say, you can't go and say falsehoods. They will always prefer those beliefs, and it really is an emotional thing. Okay, we live in a very difficult time. Things are changing so rapidly that it's difficult for anybody to get their heads around all of the information. This technology that's coming before us. A lot of these people are very afraid of these changes. They always say America doesn't look the way it used to, and I feel out of place. Well, yeah, that's because they can get their email, but they don't have that much more access to the technology. And as I say this, I don't want anybody to feel bad. I'm terrible at tech, but I'm good enough to be on this show. I'm good enough to set up a YouTube channel. I know that much. These people are just terrified that their role in the world is going to disappear. There no longer will be a job for a coal miner. And they're 50 and they feel like they're too old to change. I don't think they're too old to change, but they do. And it's just fear. It's just
Right.
fear.
They're not going to change at all. I agree. I was just
Yeah,
wondering how small that base was going to get.
that's a good question. Again, it's over time going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. People will pull away a bit. Maybe some of those people will believe some of the things, but they won't be so extreme.
Well, they didn't have enough to pass to win an election this year,
Right,
this time. And
right.
he lost a lot at the January 2nd, right, or January 6th. And then, as he's going along and as he's going along, they're dropping like flies. Probably it doesn't feel like that when you live in a red state. I get that because they dig their heels in and they're just going to be there. However, each and every person has to check their gut when they go in and check that box of who you're going to vote for and what's going on. I know I have a friend that she didn't want to vote for Biden. She didn't want to vote for Trump, so she voted for somebody else. It was, that was on the ballot, which is not a vote for Biden, but it's not a vote for, it wasn't a vote for Trump. So I think that we're going to have a lot of that going on. Like they're not going to vote for any of them.
Right.
I do see that, and I keep on visualizing it. It's almost like I go along with my day and everything's going on. All of a sudden, I feel this great big, huge wave of energy drop towards the good again. And that was happening prior to Biden's election. I was like, okay, the energy is chopping again. It's going towards, it's going again. It's shifted again. It shifted again. And I feel that definitely. All right, so we're almost done because it's at 54.
Okay.
So I gotta get some more questions in.
Okay.
Actually, I'm one more. Can you look at Trump's children and see if what's going on with Trump's children?
Okay. Well, I'm seeing Ivanka first. Wow, boy, does Ivanka look disappointed, right? It's really interesting. Again, with the tin cup. In Westerns when you see like they have that kind of tin metal coffee cup where like it's got some paint on it and some of it's just metal. It's sitting on a table, on a little table, and she's sort of at a distance, and she's kind of teary-eyed, and she comes over to the table, and she grabs the cup, and it's like her cup. It's like this is what she's been reduced to, and she sits there and she's kind of cries. I mean, I in this image, I actually feel sorry for her, and I don't normally, but in this image, I actually do feel the emotions of her, almost remorse. And I'm going to say, like, it isn't just that she is sad. She does, in a sense, feel a little bit like she did something wrong. Now, I think people should be responsible for their decisions, and she certainly did make the wrong ones. But she was highly influenced to make the wrong decisions. This is not making a excuse for her, but it's almost like she's sort of realizing that she got used and that she was misled. And I know, and I get this. I could have had a better life, right? Think of her as a person who had everything you could have imagined. If her father hadn't become president, she'd just be happy and rich for the rest of her life. But he blew it. And that's one thing that she knows. Her father blew it for her, right? That's one thing she's starting to realize. Her kids are at stake. She could go to jail. Her husband could go to jail. She's going to be maligned. Every time she walks down the street, people know who she is. And, will spit at her feet, right? So understand that even if she doesn't go to jail, she's looking pretty sad here. And I'm just going to say, she's going to go to jail. No, but she's going to get in trouble. So I get to know, like, there's the jail cell and she closes the door, but she's not in it. But it's almost like a lot of litigation. She just barely made it. And she just kept herself out of jail. But she's not rich anymore.
I think that's the best prison you can put her in, is to be a poor little girl.
In a way, so that maybe the karma is to see the other side. What's it like to be a poor person in New York?
I think that is the one thing about Trump right now and 45 right now, is the amount of money that is being siphoned away from him because of all of the legal problems, and also with Ivanka. It's like now she has to switch her money and her reliance on her husband's money instead of her own father's money. And I think that's probably where you see the poverty line. Now she has to, she has nothing there with her father to inherit, to gather.
And Jared, as you say his name, does not look happy in that relationship.
Well, no.
Jared is pissed. Like, he just lost a lot of money because of his idiot father-in-law.
Yeah.
So he's not so enamored of Ivanka right now. They're not having such a great time at home right now. And again, they have children to consider. So it's sort of just desserts. Now you have the problems of normal people. All of those people in America who've been suffering for 4 years. Now you know what they're suffering from. Yeah. So
yeah, I think they're going to get a taste of their own medicine.
I would say the brothers might be more likely to go to jail. So let's look at Junior. So Trump Jr. Yeah, Trump Jr. He's in a prison cell. Right. What's the other second son with the gums? Has that terrible gummy smile. What's the second brother?
Hold on a minute. Somebody will come up with it. I know it's like gone.
Yeah, I know. When you're doing intuitive work, it just words
Oh.
escape you.
What is the brother's name? What is the brother's name? Somebody will post it in here.
Okay, I have his image.
Eric.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not sure about Eric. Eric seems pretty confident that he's not going to jail, although he is under indictment. So he is kind of compelled to tell the truth. I understand also these guys are going to have to testify against each other, right? So, they'll be called to testify, and you might have to testify against your own brother to keep yourself out of jail. Eric would have no problem doing that. That's what he tells me right now. He's like, yeah, and
I've never seen that. I've never gotten the brothers liking each other. Never, ever gotten that.
Yeah. They don't really care about others in general. It's pretty much about survival for them. In a pretty abusive family, again, I don't want to give them any sympathy, but it makes sense. It's, Trump has taught them to think only of themselves. When was Trump ever nice to a sibling or a niece or anything like that? Except Ivanka, which is just creepy.
Yeah. Fantastic. I think we're at the end of the hour for one, because I know you have appointments and stuff to get to. Yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're going to be back on June 23rd.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, same time, same place. Well, actually, it's going to be a half an hour later. It's going to be like 6:30 Mountain Time. So put that on your calendar, everybody. We do this. Make sure that you subscribe to both channels because we do this monthly. And I will always post up where you can ask questions and stuff like that. We really had a lot of political questions, but you're more than welcome to ask spiritual questions as well. He enjoys them. Yeah, personal ones are a little difficult to get through for a whole hour, but so if you have any spiritual questions, how to do this or how to do that, he's more than happy to answer those. He does a lot of spiritual work, and thank goodness for that, right?
Yeah. I haven't done it recently, but I keep updating my website to include writing stuff that I'm writing about spiritual topics. So don't hesitate to look at my website and just read. I believe, like Sheila, all of us, we can develop our intuitions, and now's the time.
Yeah, we have to continue on with our work, or it goes stale and stagnant, is what I always say. You never want to stand in the bog. It's just like anything else, any license that you would have, like, anything like that, you always have to have continued education. And it's incredibly important for even spiritual workers to always continue out and do that. So also, you do readings, correct?
I do, yeah. I do readings, and I teach channeling. So if you'd like to learn how to channel, just take a look at my website, see how it fits for you. Don't hesitate to send me a message.
Yep. And he gets a lot of emails just like I do. So just be prepared for the delay in emails. Don't get, we love to email you right off right back. But, I even looked at my emails. I got 3,000.
Wow. Oh my God.
Oh my God. And it takes me a while to get through them, and I do my best. I actually, while I'm working, I get to I get to go through a lot of them. So if people get their emails like in the middle of the night, it's because that's
yeah.
But yeah, so it is kind of difficult and impactful to do that. And sometimes people will just email me, and I just get to read what they say, and I won't be able to respond. But just know that I do read them when you send them, and I appreciate all the great, wonderful stuff. So with all of that said, I do need a secretary, Connie. I think I do. I remember giving a reading, and somebody offered to be a secretary. I just can't remember who it was.
Well, maybe they'll contact you, and they'll be within those emails. They'll be
within those emails. Yeah, put it all in caps. Secretary.
Perfect.
Yeah, give that over to somebody else to be able to answer all those emails that come in. So, all right, David, I appreciate you so very much. Thank you. And I am looking forward to you and Alina collaborating, actually physically together. That's going to be fantastic. fantastic.
Yeah.
And if I think I'm already a moderator on your channel, so it's probably
Oh,
going to be
wonderful. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you,
So
moderators.
yeah. So
Mhm.
I'll definitely, if I'm available, I'll definitely show up to help with that.
Absolutely wonderful.
All right, so let's go ahead and say goodbye and gratitude to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
showing up.
everyone. Look forward to next month.
Yes. And smile pretty because this is the last picture with AC.
Okay.